everyone. My name is Karen Long and welcome to Fast Beyond 40. My guest today is Marlene Norton-Baker. She competes in the women's 70 age group against women aged 70 to 74. Today's episode is not just about speed, but also endurance. Marlene has gone from being one of Australia's and the world's best sprinters in the 100, 200 and 400 metres to running a 50-kilometre ultramarathon in her 60s. So I'm looking forward to our conversation today and hearing more of her story. So Marlene, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Karen. Lovely to be here.
Cool. I just thought, as a starting point, Marlene, when did you return, or when did you start Masters Athletics?
I 2015. In 2015, the first sort of major event was to go to the Nationals in Sydney. And that was the first time of real competition. And it was sort of like go with a lovely group from here in Adelaide and run. And I had success with the 100 metres. I couldn't believe it. It was such a, you were there, you were competing and you did so well yourself. But that was just an awesome feeling, and it was like a sense of achievement. But I was with like-minded people, Karen, so it was a great time, not only from a competing point of view, but just to be, I guess, away and doing what, those national championship events are all about. So,
I remember that competition in Sydney and your race in the 100 metres, and I didn't get to see the finish because just after you started, we got called up ready to be allocated our lanes for our race. But I remember seeing your start and you didn't get the best start. And I kind of, as they called us away, I thought, oh no.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get to see what unfolded. And then later on, I saw you and I said, how did you go? And you're like, I won. And I thought, oh my goodness, I was so happy for you. But there was an element of surprise because I knew you were in a tough race and you hadn't got a best start. So you must have just absolutely flown through the middle and to the end because
it's also the other thing that drives a little bit is that you know who you're going to be running against, and these were long time experienced runners and they know the start, the middle and the finish. They've got the experience, and so I guess what comes out of that is just determination. I'm here, I want to do okay. And it turned out to be that. It wasn't by a lot, but to me, it was an outcome that I probably didn't think was going to go that way. But hey, I'll take it, Karen.
And do you think you surprised them, Marlene, because you were fairly new on the scene at that stage? They wouldn't have known who you were. You knew who they were.
And that's a good point. It is a bit like Marlene who, all right? So where does she come from and how does she fit in? She knew all the other names. The runners knew all the other names, but it was a little bit like, okay. So not sure. And I guess that also makes them a little bit more, aware of or trying to work out what it's going to be. But yeah, you're right. I think that does come into play.
So I know they will do their homework. I learned that in that same nationals because just before that, I had run a personal best in the 100 and the 200, and my 200 meters was like a massive personal best, about 0.6 of a second. Yeah. And I remember on the first day rocking up there, and I had a little bit of trouble with my calf, so I scratched from the 60. And one of my competitors came up and she said, "Oh, you're running really well right now." And I said to our coach Paul, I said, "Oh, they know who I am."
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, yes, Karen, they've done their homework. They could have looked you up." And I was really surprised because here I was just coming to, like you, run my best, but have fun. But they've done their homework. They knew who I was, what I could do. And I thought, all right, this is on, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can remember the 200, the Flynn lady, she was the one too that was trying to work out who I was, and that was just enough to kick her on as well because ultimately she won some of that race. But you can see there was underlying concern or underlying, I just don't know enough about this person but with that being the case, it makes you a bit more determined to start fast.
Absolutely. Give it your best shot.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, that's right. So, yep. Hmm.
And then from there, Marlene, I know you had a few issues with your body, and then you went out and you did this crazy 50-kilometer ultra
Hmm.
marathon. And what
Yep.
made you decide? What inspired you to do that?
Rightio. Okay, it goes like this. I've got a really crazy Sydney friend. All right. And she says, Marlene, why don't we do this? And she's been running around. The first event was in the Blue Mountains, the ultra marathon in the Blue Mountains. And she goes, oh, it's great. It's trail running and that sort of thing. We could do it. I go, I guess so. We could do that. And so just between the two of us, we had a bit of a program. She'd run over there, and I just extended my running distance here, and it was just endurance, just building up endurance. And but when you run that first event, you've got no idea of the extent of the variation, the stairs, the terrain, and but we were there with like 10, 15,000 people. They were all hiking and running through the Blue Mountains. But because a little bit unknown to how long this was all going to take, they suggested you take a headlamp. You got mandatory gear. So take a headlamp. I thought, oh, righty, okay. Well, don't practice too much using a headlamp, right? So we're going through the Kadumba Valley at night, and it's like pitch dark. And we're finding our way and using poles to get through. This is incredible terrain, but you've got people who run past as if there's nothing there. They're brilliant runners. The 100-kilometer runners are just amazing people for just what they do and how they do it. But this particular race, the ultra marathon in the Blue Mountains, at the 49-kilometer mark, you've got 1K to go, and it's nothing more than stairs, 950 stairs, right? So you're absolutely stuffed from the first 49 and then finish off with a kilometre of stairs. And anyway, you get up to the top. Well, you think it's the top, and they say, well done, Marlene. I'm thinking, how do you know? Well, my name's written on my bib, right? And he said, well done, Marlene, just over here and just a little bit further. Well, blow me down. There's more stairs, right, to finish off the race. But then, Karen, you come into the runway to the finish line. It's just an awesome feeling. It really is an awesome feeling. There are people who have stood there for a long time. They're ringing cowbells, calling out your name. And you get through to the finish line, and it's like, I cannot believe I've done this. It's just a really awesome feeling. And it is it's a long way. It's no doubt. But such a sense of achievement as well. You don't run all the way. You can't run all the way, but it's just a mix of staying focused, in the middle of the night sort of stuff running, and it's a test, but I gave myself a tick.
I think you passed the test.
Yeah, I passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the crazy Sydney friend is the one that comes up with the ideas. And so, yeah.
And have you done any more of the ultra marathon since then?
I did. I did. She thought it would be a nice thing to buy me a ticket. I turned 70, and she bought me a ticket to enter the Tarawera one in Rotorua, New Zealand. And so I said, okay, I go, you go. All right. So all planned, practice, trained more for the 50, knowing a little bit more about what 50 meant. However, New Zealand's slightly different terrain. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful over there. And so we train. And then she rings to say, I can't go, Marlene. There's something amiss at home. I've got to do certain things. I've got to give it a miss. So John and I had always planned to make it a holiday as well as a run. So off we go, and competed in that one. Again, a totally different terrain, and I made sure this time I was not going to come home in the dark, right? I was, there's no way. So obviously went through faster, and I ended up coming in second for that one for my age group. So yeah, I was pretty happy because the lady who won knows the area, not taking anything away from her. She achieved a better time and all that. But yeah, again, I gave myself another tick, thinking 50K is 50K.
What sort of training? I can't even begin to imagine the
Mm.
training, but what do you actually do to be able to compete for that length of time?
Yeah, and I think it's repetitive. It's doing a lot of Ks, but you don't do 50 at once. You build up, and your park runs came into that, and then a bit of speed work came into it because of just being able to stay longer on your legs. But digressing for a minute, I what I do now is strength training. And Lynn and I have gone and started that. And I just feel there's such an enormous advantage to have that ability now with legs, your core muscles, just overall well-being, Karen, by doing strength. No weights, but there are various ways of doing it. It's enjoyable, and you can see results. You feel different in that sense as well.
And so, is the strength training something new to you as a masters athlete? Have you not done that before?
No, good. No, hadn't. No, it was all purely built on speed and repeats and maybe a fartlek type training, but nothing to add in that way at all. So for up until pretty much 70, didn't do strength training. And you look at it now and you go, oh, that would have been such an advantage to have had that more previous times.
Wow. Yeah. Imagine Sydney if you'd had the strength training as well.
Yeah. Who would have come in there? Who knows?
And how many sessions a week do you do of the strength training?
Two. I do two. I sort of spread them out. I try to mix them up with my other training with the club, with in-sync athletes. So that's 3 times a week for the club, and then put the 2 strength ones into that. Yeah, and then if you've got a competition coming up, well, you're just mindful just how much do you do. But I like it. I like the strength part. I can tell the difference, Karen. It makes a difference.
Yeah, and that's interesting that that at 70 it has such an impact.
Yeah,
And
okay.
you can, yeah, that you can see and you can feel it, and do you feel that it generally improved your running by being stronger?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. It, it might sound silly, but your legs can actually perform the sprint motion better because the legs are stronger, and also the core. The core is way stronger, and that's giving me the lift so I can move forward and increase the pace. And that's only sort of one feeling that I do have that it has improved for sure. Mhm.
Excellent.
Yeah,
And what about, I'm just checking my notes, and
yeah.
nutrition? Marlene, what do you eat? What would be a normal day of food for you?
Okay, I work 3 days a week, so I pack my lunch. Okay, so my lunch will consist of a wrap, and it'll have your lettuce, tomato, maybe chicken, that sort of idea for a wrap, and fruit. Usually take that with me, and then have a night time. Well, maybe sometimes it's meat and 3 veg. It's like I cook for my husband, so you're looking at vegetables, meat, steamed vegetables like them. They're a good thing. Yeah, that's probably it in a nutshell. Because I still work, I've looked for perhaps a simple way to put food together, and yeah, I'm not don't sort of go out and try a lot of different things. I stay with what I know.
But it sounds like it's very wholesome. There's lots of, the fruit and the veggies, and you've got the
Yeah,
protein
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
So,
hmm
really good mix. Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
All right. And what about, just your general maintenance? Do you have massage, or what's your
Mhm.
go-to to look after your body?
I do. And sometimes I've made the mistake where the massage is too late. It should be more regular massages. Okay. You only go to when you're hurting, but the reality is to have regular massages has got to be of benefit. I have a lovely man who's also experienced him. He has been a runner himself. He no longer can do that, so he's opted for bike riding. So, but he understands the body, and to me, that's helpful as opposed to just somebody trying to work it out. I find that his name's Ross, and Ross is very good at pinpointing. If there's a problem and it's come from somewhere, so let's deal with that and then sort it out from there. And I've been able to have much more freedom uh, from some of the runs because I did a Sydney marathon and I also did the Melbourne half marathon. And the Sydney one, I came away with what they call runner's knees. And that means where you spent too much time probably on the concave of a road, being you're not flat. So you're sort of running on an angle. Anyway, so they call it runner's knees. It's solvable. You can get better from it. But I went to Ross and he was able to sort that out just by some simple spots that needed to be fixed. So,
Yeah, I always
but
find when I go looking for someone, obviously because I've been traveling, I haven't had my normal people to go to, but when I read on their website, I always look for, and doesn't matter what they are, whether they're a chiropractor or whatever,
yep.
I always look for someone that's got a sporting background or
Mhm.
deals with sporting people and athletes, because like you
Yeah.
say, they see things that a regular
Mhm.
therapist wouldn't have to deal
Yep.
with.
Totally right. Absolutely spot on. And then also this particular gentleman was referred to me by the guy who is doing the strength classes. Okay, so a referral, recommendation, to me, that's halfway there for me wanting to pick up the phone and making an appointment. Yeah, I just feel like you're going to be with somebody, like you said, who's got an idea,
Yeah.
and be able to look at it a lot easier. So, but when I did the Sydney Marathon, somebody said to me, "Why would you want to do that? I mean, that's 42 kilometers." I go, "Yep, you're right." But I said to them, "I've never, I've never run over the bridge, the Sydney Harbour, and I've never run into the Sydney Opera House to finish a race." Right. So off I go. There's about 22,000 of us, Karen. Right. Off we go over the bridge. And it's just like, I can't believe I'm doing this, for one. And this race is just almost like a race to nowhere because they've got to make up 42 kilometres in and around Sydney. And I saw the 21 kilometre mark and I thought, well, why didn't I do that? Do that race instead. And I had another 21 to go. But then we went out to the footy grounds, covered every inch of Centennial Park, right? It's just went on and on. And then to finish up at the Sydney Opera House is awesome. It's just wow. How good is that? And it's in Australia, it's an Australian race. And now I see they're one of the major events of the world, which is awesome as well. But yeah, then walking away after that race, Karen, everybody's walking around with these t-shirts on and so happy with themselves, and it's just a buzz, an absolute buzz to walk around with people, like-minded people who have finished the same thing and just the wonderful experience they've had as well to be there and have done it. And the same experience came for me for doing the Melbourne half. I thought, why not? I've heard about it. And so over we went. John and I again made a bit of a holiday out of it. And so again, it's 21 k's, very long stretch along St Kilda Road, round Albert Park and back. But then the piece of resistance is you get to the Melbourne MCG grounds. You get to gate 7 and it's a slight ramp, and you get to the top and you actually stop. That stadium is amazing, absolutely amazing. There are lots of people in there, and they put down planks onto the grass. So you run three-quarter way around on the planks because not to damage the surface. And so you go right around, and there are people calling out, it's just something. And go through the finish line. Yeah, again, a feeling, a sense of achievement. Yeah, and trained for that again just by doing tick.
Another tick. You're getting lots of ticks.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, Sydney is a beautiful city. I mean, there's amazing landmarks. Did you ever think when you signed up for this Masters Athletics and these marathons that you would be traveling all around the world, all around Australia, doing all these beautiful runs? Did it ever occur to you that that's where this would end up?
No. Short answer. No. It's what you make it. It's what you want to create. It's what you want to challenge yourself to do. Um, you are in a group of people who either have done something similar or would want to do something like that. So you go together. It's a combination of things, Karen. It really is. And no, absolutely no regrets. It's just like it's opened up so many opportunities. Yeah, traveled the world. Like last year, I went to Gothenburg to do the World Masters over there. Have been to Leon. I don't. Did you go to Leon yourself?
Yes,
It's like it's it's just it's just such a sense of achievement as well, Karen. Truly,
it is. Yeah.
it's a great mix. And I thank the good Lord that I've been able to keep running like I have, that the opportunity to get out there and do this. I'm not the fastest person in the world, Karen, but I like what I'm doing.
And that's the thing. If you're having fun, I always was in this business for a long time, and the guy used to say, if it's not fun, it shouldn't be done. And I thought,
Yeah,
you have to enjoy it. And
yeah, mhm,
yeah, and then it's just all these other things like the kind of a byproduct of it. But
mm,
ultimately, it's you enjoying yourself, challenging yourself, as you said,
yeah.
seeing what you can do.
Well, that's it. It is actually seeing what you can do, and it's not so much a test. I just see it as I think I can do this. I reckon I can do this, and then go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
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 and
absolutely.
and make the most of it. Yeah,
And what's your background with sport, Marlene? Did you do athletics and running as a kid and a teenager and in your younger years, or what sport did you do?
yeah, no, no, true. It started at school. I liked athletics. I did really well at high school. And then didn't do much after leaving school, but played a lot of team sports and everything from tennis to netball. Then married, family, children, you get involved in children's activities. And I actually played netball against my girls, right? So, yeah, oh, look at that. But yeah, kept involved, kept moving that way. Moved around a little bit with employment for John's employment. Always kept on doing something, but definitely there's been stops and starts. And then came through to Adelaide and met up with people saying, well, why don't you call them? Why don't you look at that? Why don't you do this? And then it was up to me to start. What do I want? What do I want to do? So, hmm.
And something you said there brought up a question, but it's gone now. That's all right. We'll come back.
That's my problem. It shouldn't be yours.
I know. So, Marlene, what would you say is your best achievement, the one that you are the most proud of?
Uh, Look, for all, I guess because there's such a variation, well, not such, there is a variation. Um, uh, if I look at the sprinting one, I think the national. event does become the one. Given where I was in running at that point, and then to win that, and it's a national event, I think I can say that's okay, Marlene. That's a good one. But then if I look at all those other achievements, as in marathons and ultras, I just look at those and saying I had somebody who was wanting to do them. Kind of drove me to think more about it. I don't know that I would have done it if somebody hadn't really mentioned it. So it was the chance, it was an opportunity. I grabbed it and I like what I did, that sort of thing. So yeah, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Have a crack.
Have a crack.
Yeah, you might surprise yourself.
That's it. That's it. That is true. Like in Adelaide for the last nationals, Masters National Championships, I went and did the pentathlon. Okay. Somebody said, why would you want to do that? I said, well, there's 5 different events. I can do some well, and others I'm going to struggle to get points. But it was something different again. Yeah, something different to have a go, and came away with the gold. And I thought, right, again, tick. I know that I can do that sort of thing as well. But again, it's just a challenge, keep practicing at it, keep working at it, and where it takes me, it's where it's got a question mark. It's just I keep on having a go.
I think that's what I really admire about you, Marlene, is you're just willing to try all these different things. And not only do you try them, you do really well at them, but you're willing to just get in there and give it a crack. What do you think the secret is to do you think it's your mindset, or what do you think your secret sauce is there as to why you always do so well at all these totally different things?
I don't know that there's really anything in particular, but I find that if I set my sights on something, it becomes a determination. It becomes a challenge, and it's sure heck I want to do well. Right? Whatever I do, I want to do well. It doesn't matter whether I come first, second, or third. I just want to do well in the event, and that is entirely up to me as to how I train, what I do to prepare myself. So invariably it comes back to me as to how I approach it. But I think determination, Karen.
Yeah, you're very determined.
I'm very determined, yes. Yep, got to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said I'm going to do it, so I'm going to do it.
Good on you.
Yeah.
And what impact do you feel that it's had on your kids and your grandkids to see you trying all these different things and succeeding at them?
You're asking some really good questions, and I actually can relate to a couple of situations. Again, the granddaughter, she was much younger. I said, we were in Darwin at the time. That's where they lived. We're going to go and do a park run. She goes, oh, Nana, I'm not doing park runs. That's 5 kilometers, and it's really hot. It's really hot up there, okay? Yes. And I go, no, we'll do it. Okay, so off we did, run, walk. And we get to the last probably 20 meters, and she takes off like a shower. Karen, it took off.
Like a rocket?
Like a rocket. And I'm thinking, where have you been, And right, gets over the line, beat Nana, or I got there first, or whatever, right? So it didn't matter. I thought, we've just done this together, and it's just the best feeling, all right, to run with her for somebody who's just felt she couldn't do it. So that's one. And then I have a 10-year-old grandson. He's in Canberra, and he's been picked to do cross country. And so he did that event. When I was in Canberra with him, we went and did a cross country thing together. And he's a little bit surprised that his Nana can move around like she did. Okay, so that's okay. Anyway, so he then puts himself up for the 100 meters and the 200 meters.
Okay.
So he rings me up and he says, Nana, how fast can you run 100 meters? And I said, when, what time do you, at what time do you want me to tell you? Was it 2 years ago, 10 years ago, or today? And he goes, oh no, I just want to find out because I'm going to run the event. When he ran so beautifully, took out the event, and I said, mate, that's just awesome. So whether it was a carrot for him to think I'm going to run quicker than my nana or whatever, I don't know. But anyway, the buzz for me was that he rang up and he says, hey nana, how fast can you run 100 meters? To even think about it, right? To even think to pick up the phone and say, Nana, help me, or what did you do? That sort of thing. I take a lot out of that, car, and I think it's probably the what can I say? I'm trying to say that I don't push it onto the kids, but they know that I've done some things, or they've heard I'm going to do some things. And I guess that's a nice little recognition to come back and say some of those things that they do say. I think that they are quietly proud of Nana. Nana's done a lot of things, and Nana's not young anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's still doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's yeah, I think that's how I take it.
And it's a great example. And then for them, it becomes their normal. They don't realize that you're definitely not the norm for someone of your age, but it becomes their normal. So then when they're older, they're still going to expect to be running around and doing all these, crazy things like you do, because that's what they've seen you do.
Well, and how true. I really think that this is the quiet way of going about uh, them. Yeah, it's really hard to put into words, but I reckon that's a good way to sum it up. That they've seen it, they know it's possible. It's there. There's nothing untoward in giving it a try. Well, gee whiz, my nana gave it a try and she was 70. Well, that's the challenge for them, isn't it? To see if they can do something similar. I don't know, but.
And also shows just an attitude of no excuses, because like with your granddaughter, it's hot and it's 5 kilometers and you're like, no, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely right. And you get all the pushbacks and all the negatives, and that's just normal. That's just normal. I mean, some of that sort of negativity goes through your head sometimes yourself for training, Oh, it's wet.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah, I can't be bothered today.
And that's it. It comes up.
It does.
It comes up. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, not surprised. They would say some of those things. So,
And what would you say to anyone looking on from the outside that's thinking of coming back to masters and looks at you but thinks, oh, I can't do what you do? What advice would you give them?
I think to start with a buddy, with a buddy. The buddy will push, or the buddy is like-minded, and you start off slowly. Just you can go from a walk to a jog, just to get some activity and to realize that that wasn't so bad, and then to keep going. But the buddy is a great way to keep in touch, drive a person. But then every now and then you need to be on your own. You go out and do your own thing. So I think the mix of starting up with a buddy, the masters group here, a wonderful bunch of volunteers ever, and they would help no end to make you feel welcome, have a go at this. We're in all different forms and shapes and abilities. Join a club that will recognise that you're about to start out, or you'd like to try something. They'd wrap their arms around you just to get a start, because they understand. But I think it's just a mix. But I guess a little bit of an idea what you'd like to do. But then again, if you don't know if you don't try things, you're never going to find out either what's best. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the masters community is a beautiful community of people. They are very welcoming. I found that from day one, and with my travels, I've rocked up to pretty much every state within Australia, and I've had to call their local track to just say, what's the
Yeah.
when can I come out and train, and then
Yep.
I've competed at some of the local events, and I've always been very welcoming. A lot of people already knew who I was, even though I didn't know who they were. But it's
Yes,
a beautiful community of people
it is.
wherever you go. I think that's one of the things I'm hearing from people like yourself, Marlene. A big part of it is not just how you feel within yourself and your own sense of achievement, but it's the community of people that you're a part of, that you get to do all this with, which is it's really
Yeah.
wonderful.
And I think the other thing too, Karen, is that there are some very, very good masters athletes
Yes.
who are also prepared to share what it means to what skills are needed, how to go about things, and they're prepared to share as opposed to holding on to the information. Share, willing to see other people do something similar, and I think that's nice as opposed to maybe not having that involvement. But you'll find masters they love life.
Thank you. Yeah.
They love life, the fact that they can keep doing what they're doing, and I'm grateful that I've been able to keep on doing what I'm doing, and I keep mixing it up because
You
it's the
sure do.
spice of running. If you
It is. We don't want to get all too same, so.
no, boring.
And what's next on the calendar for you, Marlene? What's your next goal?
My next goal is I've got the Adelaide Marathon Festival here, so I put my name down for a 10K event. So I try that leading up to going to South Korea for the Worlds.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I haven't made up my mind exactly yet, but I thought the events I'd try in South Korea or Daegu would be the 400, 800, and the 6 kilometre cross country.
Oh, okay.
I know. There's a mix, isn't there?
That's diverse. That'll suit you.
Yeah, that's it. Like it sums me up. Don't know what to do, which ones. I'll pick those. So those three. But no, I think that's my aim at the moment, to focus on them. So
Fantastic. And is there anything else, Marlene, before we wrap it up today? Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I guess another part of a pinnacle that I do think fondly of, and that was the ability to be able to run with the Olympic torch. Right. So when it was here for Sydney, of course, had the opportunity to run with the torch, and we were living in Mount Gambier at the time, and you pick places that you want to run with the torch, and you would get obviously one of the spots you might have allocated. So anyway, Mount Gambier it was so cold in Mount Gambier, but you wouldn't know. We were in shorts, we were in sort of thin, lovely tops, and we were running, and there's a swap over on the torch, and so I get my turn, and I run, and I've got all these wonderful people around me running, and I've got lots of other things happening around me, lots of people calling out. I got so caught up in the euphoria of it all, I ran past my changeover. It was like, there's nobody here. It's just me. I'm running, and then this person's called out, hey, it's my turn, right? So yeah, it was lovely. Yeah.
Is that where the love for marathons came from?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Could have been the start, Karen. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Marlene. Thank you so much for joining me today. You've had so many little nuggets there that people can take away.
Yep.
And I wish you all the best in Daegu. I look forward to seeing how you go and results from there.
Lovely. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Karen. It's just nice to have a chat to you. It's beautiful.
Thanks, Marlene.
Okay, thanks, Karen. Cheers. Bye.